Welcome to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and joining me today is Sam. We're diving into one of the most transformative trends reshaping enterprise technology right now, Agentic AI and autonomous decision-making systems. Sam, this is a topic that's moved way beyond the hype cycle, hasn't it?
Absolutely, Alex. What's striking is that Agentic AI has transitioned from experimental pilots into mission-critical operations. We're not talking about theoretical capability anymore. Organizations are running these autonomous agents across supply chains, financial workflows, and healthcare diagnostics, and they're seeing real, measurable ROI. That's a significant inflection point.
So what exactly are we talking about when we say Agentic AI? How is that different from, say, a ChatGPT or a traditional AI chatbot that people might be more familiar with?
Great question. A traditional chatbot or language model responds to discrete queries. You ask it something, it answers. But an agentic AI system is fundamentally different. These agents operate with goal-oriented autonomy. They decompose complex tasks into sub-steps, make contextual decisions, interact with external systems, and iterate toward objectives with minimal human intervention. It's almost like hiring a specialist who doesn't need constant oversight.
That's a helpful distinction. And I imagine the business impact is pretty substantial if organizations are deploying these at scale. What kind of efficiency gains are we seeing?
The numbers are striking. According to recent data, enterprises deploying multi-agent systems reported average efficiency improvements of 22 to 40% in process automation scenarios. We're talking about transformational business impact, not incremental improvements. And the adoption curve is accelerating rapidly. Gartner projects that Agentic AI will represent 15 to 20% of enterprise AI deployments by 2026, up from less than 2% just 3 years ago in 2023.
That's a dramatic jump. What's driving that acceleration? Is it just better technology, or are there other factors at play?
3 converging forces, actually. First, we've got improved large language models that are genuinely capable of reasoning and planning, not just pattern matching anymore. Second, we now have enterprise-grade orchestration platforms that can manage these agents reliably at scale. But here's the critical third factor. Regulatory frameworks, particularly the EU AI Act, are creating compliance advantages for organizations that invest in governance-first agent architectures from day one.
That's interesting. So regulation is actually accelerating adoption rather than slowing it down for companies that get ahead of it. Tell us more about how the EU AI Act is shaping this landscape.
It's reshaping it significantly. The EU AI Act creates incentives for domain-specific approaches over generic, one-size-fits-all models. We're seeing European organizations shift away from US-based general-purpose AI models toward specialized agents trained on vertical datasets, particularly in healthcare, finance, and legal sectors. These domain-specific agents actually outperform generic models on accuracy, regulatory alignment, and cost efficiency.
So there's actually a European advantage emerging here in terms of building AI systems that align with regulation from the ground up?
Exactly. Organizations investing in governance-first agent architectures aligned with EU AI Act requirements aren't just checking boxes. They're building sustainable competitive advantages. The era of generic, one-size-fits-all AI is ending. In 2026, the winners will be those deploying specialized agents with transparent decision pathways, robust governance frameworks, and clear accountability structures.
Okay, so assuming an organization wants to build one of these agentic systems responsibly, what does that actually look like architecturally? What are the critical components?
You need architectural rigor across 4 critical layers. The first is perception, how your agent ingests data from enterprise systems, sensors, and external APIs. That layer needs real-time validation and built-in bias detection, so you're not feeding garbage into your decision engine. Second is the decision layer. This is where the reasoning happens, and it's critical that it's interpretable. You need goal-oriented reasoning with guardrails and regulatory constraints embedded in how the agent evaluates options.
And I'm guessing the third and fourth layers are about actually executing those decisions and then monitoring what happens?
Precisely. The action layer is where the agent actually integrates with your systems, and this is where safety mechanisms matter enormously. You need rollback capabilities, circuit breakers, and human escalation paths for high-risk decisions. Then the fourth layer is accountability and monitoring. You need continuous oversight, decision logging, and feedback mechanisms so you understand what your agent is doing and why.
That sounds like it requires a pretty significant shift in how organizations think about AI deployment. You can't just launch an agent and hope for the best, right?
Absolutely not. This is where governance becomes non-negotiable. Many organizations are still stuck in proof-of-concept cycles, running pilots that never reach production. Meanwhile, competitors who've invested in governance frameworks from day one are deploying agentic systems across mission-critical workflows and capturing substantial competitive advantages. The cost of waiting is real. It's organizational obsolescence.
So let's get practical here. If I'm leading an organization and I'm thinking about deploying agentic AI systems, what's the first thing I need to do?
Conduct an AI maturity assessment. You need to understand your starting point, your current governance capabilities, your data infrastructure, your regulatory readiness, and your organizational culture around AI. That assessment informs everything that comes next. You can't build a trustworthy agent architecture on a foundation of governance immaturity.
And once you've done that assessment, what does the roadmap look like?
It varies by organization, but generally you're looking at 3 phases. First, establish your governance framework. Define how decisions will be made, what oversight mechanisms you need, how you'll handle accountability and liability. Second, build your architecture with the 4 layers I mentioned: perception, decision, action, and monitoring. Third, start with lower-risk use cases, validate your architecture, and then scale to mission-critical workflows once you've proven safety and compliance.
That sounds like it takes real discipline and planning rather than just rushing to deployment. What's the cost of getting this wrong?
The stakes are high. If your autonomous agent makes decisions affecting customer outcomes, regulatory compliance, or business risk without proper governance oversight, you're exposed to significant liability, both financially and reputationally. We've already seen regulatory scrutiny increase around AI decision-making in high-stakes domains like healthcare and finance. Getting ahead of that is smart risk management.
So for organizations listening to this, what's your core message about navigating agentic AI in 2026?
Invest in governance first, innovation second. The organizations that will lead in 2026 won't be the ones that move fastest. They'll be the ones that build trustworthy systems with transparent decision pathways and clear accountability structures. Agentic AI is transformational, but only if you implement it responsibly.
That's excellent guidance. Sam, thanks for breaking this down. For our listeners who want to dig deeper into AI agent architecture, governance frameworks, and how to assess your organization's AI maturity, head over to etherlink AI and find the full article on agentic AI and autonomous decision-making. Until next time, this has been EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and thanks for listening.